we're told once you have X amount in savings, X amount in the bank, this kind of car, this kind of house, this kind of sex life, then you're going to feel this. Then you're going to be successful. That is such baloney. That is malarkey. I'm calling BS on all of that. This is a societal construct that we get to totally debunk. Why are your dreams killing you? So let me first say that it's not necessarily the dreams that are killing you. It's your approach to your dreams that are killing you. One of the reasons why I wrote the prosperity approach and why my brand has been the prosperity approach is not to teach broke people how to make money, though it does. It's really for people that are like, have it together on paper, but they're like, oh, life is good. Can it get better? How good am I willing to let life get? And what we have all been taught is the scarcity and lack approach, regardless of how much money is in your bank account, no matter how great your marriage is and how wonderful your relationship with your children, your coworkers, your employees are. We've all been taught the lack and scarcity approach. But if you want to answer the question of how good am I willing to let life get, you've got to start using the prosperity approach to your dreams. And it's a very, very specific approach. And I want to talk about what's going on like physiologically in our bodies, particularly as women, that make us so worn out, feeling like a wrung out washcloth at the end of every day. When we hit our goals, we still don't feel fulfilled. We feel like we have to be everything to everyone, and we're last. And we're not last the best of all the game. We're just last all the time. So we feel like we have given every last drop to everybody. And then our spouse, our husband, only has one tiny drop of us, but we have devalued it so much that we won't even give that to him. And then we feel guilty and we feel like we're a bad wife and a bad mother and a bad CEO and like all the things that just snowball. But let me tell you what's going on, because it's just some little tweaks, and they're simple, but they're not easy. So business is masculine. And there's nothing wrong with masculine. Masculine is the energy of production and achievement. It's the let's get this thing done, let's do it. The hormone that's released with masculine energy is testosterone and dopamine, and those are some really, really great hormones that we all have and we all need. Now, as women, and especially as women in business, we have only been taught the masculine approach to business. And we live in a society that really values production and achievement. We live in a very masculine-based society. I am not talking about the patriarchy. I'm not talking about the matriarchy. I'm talking about our approach to success in society is not helping us any longer. It never did help us. As women in business, we need to approach it with feminine energy rather than masculine energy. Now, stay with me, because this is actually super mainstream, and this is actually like energies of creation. And you need to know this if you're going to hit your dreams and feel fulfilled and become the woman or the man that you really want to become. So women belong in business. Absolutely, we belong in business, but we cannot do it like a man anymore. We cannot afford to do it like a man anymore. We are sacrificing our families. We're sacrificing our health. We're sacrificing our own identity on society's altar of success. And that altar of success is wrong, and it's perverted, and it is meant to destroy us and destroy our families. So as women, we need to be in the being receiving cycle before we get into the production achievement cycle. So the being receiving cycle is feminine energy. And when you are being and receiving, receive means to experience. Being is a state of mind, it's an essence. When you have that inner knowing, that's the inner fuel, then you are receiving inspiration and downloads and help and cooperation and excitement and enthusiasm and all those really wonderful things, which then trip off the masculine cycle of production achievement. Production achievement, we have been led to believe, triggers being receiving. It does not. And we know this because, have you ever reached a goal and all you feel is tired? All you feel is exhausted, and you're like, oh, can we just be done? already. And then people around you are like, you're in great momentum, double it. And you're like, are you out of your ever living mind? I efforted myself into the ground for that. I've given everything I have. But we're told once you have X amount in savings, X amount in the bank, this kind of car, this kind of house, this kind of sex life, then you're going to feel this. Then you're going to be successful. That is such baloney. That is malarkey. Oh my goodness. I'm calling BS on all of that. And this is a societal construct that we get to totally debunk. So let's talk about the physiology and how do we need to approach this, particularly as women? And then I'll talk to the men as well, because men have feminine energy in them as well. But it's important. Your hormones and your masculine energy feeds you in a different way than it feeds us. And it actually doesn't feed us. It actually poisons us. So little biology lesson. And I've said this before, and I will say this again, because men and women are different in every single cell of our bodies. We have, the same heart, but not the same sizes. We have two arms, but not the same wingspan or lung capacity. Our brains function in different ways. The communication center in a woman's brain is much bigger than a man's brain. Nobody is surprised by this. Let's talk about our hormones. Men have 16 times more testosterone that naturally occurs in their body than women have. This means that you can stand a very tall woman up next to a very short man, and that man is still going to be physically stronger than that woman, even though she is taller and she's bigger than he is, because of how much testosterone just naturally occurs in his body. Men get hit with testosterone every 15 minutes. So testosterone is the drive, it's the aggression, it's the let's get her done, all right? And again, testosterone is a wonderful thing. Women cycle through their hormones every 30 days. 30 days, well, 21 to 30 days. Men cycle through their hormones every 24 hours. This is actual science. This is real biology, no matter how you feel about it. This is how it works, and this is how God made our bodies so amazing and so compatible with each other to work together in balance and alliance instead of compliance or defiance. We are not adversaries. We are meant to be partners. So, what happens when a woman is in testosterone all day long? All right. So we're in that production achievement moment all day long. We're looking at metrics. We're doing KPIs. We've got our to-do list that we are being run ragged by. Like all of those things. Like here's our approach. We got to get up at the 5 a.m. club and we got to burn the midnight oil and we got to prove it and we got to make a place at the table for us. Like all of that absolute crap, especially for us as women. Do you know what that does for us when we are in testosterone like that? Testosterone is made in a woman's body from two places. It comes from our ovaries and it comes from our adrenal gland. So every time that we are in a burst of testosterone, we also get a burst of adrenaline. Now, adrenaline is a fight or flight chemical that's released. It's a survival chemical. Adrenaline will then kick off cortisol. Now, don't quote me on that because I don't know really what the whole cycle is with that, but I do know that cortisol women are just filled with it. And that's the hormone that happens when we're under stress. Now, men have this problem as well, being in fight or flight, being in stress, being in all of that pressure all of the time. But women have adrenal fatigue so much more than men do, because we are not meant to be in those hormones and in those chemicals all day long. Because what happens is those hormones then gather around our organs and then they cook our organs. Now, they don't boil them. I'm being a little bit graphic, but it wears us down. And it literally kills us softly. This is why your dreams are killing you. But your dreams aren't killing you. It's just your approach that's killing you. And if it's not killing your body, I guarantee you it is killing your soul. It's killing your spirit. I was talking to a woman the other day who is highly, highly successful, multi-million dollar business. In fact, I'm going to have her on the show in a later episode. She is remarkable in every way. And she was like, I am so sick of this movement that women have to be everything. It's so exhausting that we have to be everything to everyone. But when we are taught, conditioned, and programmed that the only thing of value in society is producing and achieving, it's not about receiving. It's not about connecting. It's about transacting. It kills us inside, and it steals our radiance. You know, that radiance, that inner light, that glow that comes from women who will approach their dreams from their vision, from their feminine, from being playful, being flirty, being dynamic with it, being flexible and fluid with their dreams about how they're going to get their dreams. And men will do this as well. They're like, I don't know. I just know that I'll figure it out as I go. Well, for men, that's feminine energy. For women, figuring out as I go means I have got to have the blueprint in place, step by step by step. I can't make a mistake, because if I make a mistake, I'm going to get kicked out of the tribe. And if I get kicked out of the tribe, it means sudden death. And this is 10,000 years of DNA that goes on in our programming as women. So we have so much enormous mental conflict going on because we have these big dreams and these big aspirations, but society has told us there's only one way to get them. And oh, by the way, as a woman, you have to be it all. You have to be a boss babe. You have to be a size 4. You have to rock it in 5-inch stilettos. You have to wear a blazer. You have to have sex appeal. You also, they're trying for not children anymore, but if you do have children, then you better be the world's best mother and an amazing cook and the best damn wife ever and such an amazing lover. And you better be an angel in public and a devil in the bedroom. And we're just like, can I just be me, even though I'm not quite sure who me is yet? So ladies, you just need to change your approach. That the whole bust it out and crush it and that push energy has its place, but not all the time. Even for men, they just have this natural ability to know when they need to pull back and when they need to push forward. And men will make no excuses about it. They'll just say, I need to lay down and take a nap or I will be no good to anyone. They don't feel guilty about it. They don't make excuses about it. They just say, this is what it is. I need my alone time, so don't talk to me for a half an hour. Otherwise, I'm going to be grumpy. Because that's how men are wired. And it's really, really beautiful because we no longer have to be second guessing, because like Allyson Armstrong says, men are not misbehaving women and women are not smaller, less hairy men. We are absolutely different, but we are meant to work together. So what do you take away from all of this? And like, okay, so what now? What do I do with this, Allyson? Well, first of all, take a breath. Women are fueled by pleasure, not pressure. Men get a lot of fuel from pressure. They enjoy it. It's the challenge. It's the challenge accepted. It's the fight my way out of a corner. It's those kinds of things. In fact, my brother, who is a very, very successful Snap-on dealer in Southern Utah, I remember him telling me once, first of all, he's like, well, if you're not 7 figures in debt, then it doesn't really count. You're not in debt at all. I mean, his company makes millions and millions. So I know he was teasing me just a little bit, but he said, you know what? I love being backed against the wall with like all of this debt. And then I just come out swinging and then I just tear it apart. And as he was telling me that, I was getting more and more anxious. And I was like, oh my gosh, holy cow. And as I have told this story to other women, they have the same visceral reaction to that I do. Now, not all men love debt. There's lots and lots of men, and I'm not advocating millions of dollars of debt. Don't misconstrue my words here. But a lot of times, like men really like that pressure. It makes them feel alive. That's the testosterone. That's the push energy. That's the masculine energy. Now, women can deal with pressure for a certain amount of time, but we cannot thrive there. We actually thrive in pleasure. Now, I know where some of you are going to take this because you've already taken it there. But think about the things that give you pleasure to all of your senses. Perfume. Why is chocolate sold more to women than it is to men? It's an aphrodisiac. Women just, we love our chocolate there. There's different hormones that it triggers that chocolate. It triggers oxytocin instead of all that dopamine that's going on all the time. And let me talk a little bit about oxytocin and dopamine. So dopamine is the hormone or the chemical that's released when we produce or we achieve something. That's why everybody's addicted to a to-do list, because we get a dopamine hit when we can check it off or we can cross it off. Oxytocin is what I call the queen of all of the hormones. Oxytocin is the cuddle hormone or the bonding hormone. It's the hormone that's released during intimacy, not sex, but during intimacy, emotional intimacy. It's why women love their girls' nights, because we can talk for 5 hours and we're connecting and we're experiencing each other. And there's no point to anything except that connection. And then it floods our brain with oxytocin. Oxytocin happens when we have our pets. Like when we're petting our pets, it's why you can have a 3-pound Yorkie, which we have, and you can sit on your lap and you are stuck needing to pee for 2 hours, but you won't move because that dog now weighs 3 tons. Because I swear they're like these little oxytocin producing, they just ooze it. They just ooze the oxytocin, and it's like, oh, and then the dog leaves and you're like, no, come back. Because literally hearing a baby laugh, holding a baby, holding a pet, petting an animal, petting your pet, like all of that laughter, it releases oxytocin, and that helps us to connect. Now, the problem with this is that oxytocin requires that we be present in the moment. And if our head is 3 tasks down the list of stuff we've got to do while we're in the moment, we can't be in the moment. And then we are cutting ourselves off from receiving and experiencing some really great feelings and making really amazing memories. But it requires us to slow down. Now, why is this so important? Why don't we just stay in oxytocin or stay in dopamine all the time? Because too much dopamine is an oxytocin inhibitor. That's why your dreams are killing you, but your approach to your dreams are killing you. If it's just to cross something off so you can continually get that dopamine hit, you still feel disconnected from your spouse. Many times you still feel disconnected from your mission, from your purpose. Because it's like, I've done all the things, but it's not about the task. It's about the energy. It's about the energy behind the task, which fuels it all. And women are fueled by pleasure. It's why we love flowers. It's why we love great food, wonderful conversation, wonderful smells. We love and sounds in the ocean. And not to say that men don't, but women really, really get fueled by that. And if all you're in is dopamine all the time, your milestones mean less and less. And the disconnect between you and your loved ones and you and your purpose becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. So ladies, let yourself play throughout the day. Deep breathe, men. Reset your nervous system by taking 10 deep breaths that will reset you, that will get you out of fight or flight and survival, and will get you back into your prefrontal cortex, which is where the resources are, where the ideas are, where the inspiration is. If you would like a deeper dive into this, I do have a free download, the difference between masculine and feminine energies at a glance, so that you can tell when you've been in too much dopamine for too long, sometimes when you've been in too much feminine energy for too long, like the differences between both. So I'll put that link in the show notes. And 3 things that I want you to remember and that I want you to take away. First of all, the Lord loves you. Second of all, you are enough. And third, prosperity becomes you. See you next time. Bye-bye.